Hi, my name is Manisha Nayak and I'm a children's book author and editor. Everywhere. I applied everywhere and obviously nobody wanted to call me for an interview because I had no qualification, no experience. Somehow I got really lucky and I got called for an interview. So that interview lasted 3.5 minutes. I was the star photocopier and the star person to print things, but that is not enough to make you an editor, right? I was faxing, I was very efficient and all of those things, but there was no creativity. There was nothing that showed them that this person can be an editor. The ability to deal with deadlines and not let it get to you and affect your creativity, I think is the key in surviving in publishing. So as a child, I was very interested in reading books and writing. I always had my nose in a book and I used to write my own poems and stories. But that was always a hobby. I never thought of it as something that could be my profession one day. So I kind of followed the norm. I was doing well in school and I got a scholarship to do engineering at NTU. I did the course, I finished, I got my degree and I even started work as an engineer. I realized that that's not something that I enjoy. It didn't seem like something that I could spend the rest of my life doing. What is it that I want to do if not engineering? If I want to switch, which field should I switch to? And the first thing that I could remember was that I used to love writing and reading books, and maybe publishing is something that I can get into. So I thought, okay, let me try applying to some publishers and see where I can get. This one publisher, which I don't know, somehow I got really lucky and I got called for an interview. But I think for the editorial position, they were looking for people who had experience and some kind of background, maybe in education or publishing or writing. Engineering just didn't seem to fit with the kind of role that they were looking to hire for. With no experience in publishing, knows nothing about children's book publishing, so let's not waste everybody's time. So I was kind of kicked out. It was one of the strangest things I have ever done in my career, to literally apply for the same position 2 weeks later after getting rejected. I was thinking of what I would say in answer to the question, why are you back? Because that is pretty much the only question they would ask. They would not bother to ask me anything else because nothing had changed. It's not like in the 2 weeks I had gotten myself some experience. So I thought the only thing they would be curious to know is, why is she back? Who comes back after 2 weeks? Okay, so I had literally just sat down and she said, hey, you look kind of familiar. Have I met you before? So there was this pause in my head about what should I say. Then I was like, okay, I should just come clean. So I said, yes, I was here 2 weeks ago and then I wasn't selected for the position for these reasons. And I actually understood that. Obviously her first question was, why are you back? So I said I wasn't fully convinced that just not having enough experience is a good enough reason for me to feel that I'm not worthy of this. So if I could just be given an opportunity, then you can decide whether I'm worthy of it or not. But just based on my transcript, my degree and this lack of experience, I don't feel convinced. So I thought I would give myself another chance to see if I could convince you to give me that opportunity. So I don't know, maybe it was my thick skin or something that struck a chord, and she gave me a 2-week contract as an editorial assistant. So it's kind of like an intern position. You assist the editors in photocopying and printing and all that. And I basically knew that that was the time I needed to prove myself if I wanted to make it beyond the 2-week contract. But the kind of tasks I was doing was photocopying, printing, transferring editors' markups to soft copy, faxing, which was a thing back then. So I wasn't sure how I would prove myself doing these tasks. So on the last day of my 2-week contract, I was done with everything by about lunchtime. So I went to my senior editor and I said, I'm done. So do you have anything else for me? So she didn't, but she sent me to another senior editor and said, do you have anything for this girl? Can you give her something to do? She said, we have a project in the pipeline. We want to do a set of posters based on these books. And if you're free, just, maybe jot some ideas down on what kind of posters can be made from these books. So I said, okay. And I went through the books and I jotted my ideas, and I still had like 3 hours to the end of the day. And I felt a little embarrassed to go back and ask for more things to do. So I was like, what can I do? So I thought I'll just refine whatever I had done. So the ideas I had jotted down, I decided to make mock-ups of those posters. So I photocopied pages from the books, I drew, I colored, I pasted, I wrote, and I created like A4 mock-ups of all the posters. I think it was a set of 20 posters or so. So that nicely filled up my afternoon, and I went back and I gave them the posters. And the lady, the other senior editor, she was so surprised because she had not expected that level of detail. She just wanted like just some notes on what we can do. So she was very happy, and she said, oh, you know what, why don't you take this project forward all the way until completion, and you just be in charge of it. So I was like, okay, that sounds really great, but there's a little problem. Today is my last day at work. So then she got the shock of her life, and she's like, okay, let me go and figure out what to do. So then she went to the boss's cabin. She had this conversation. She came out. I had a contract. That I knew that I had been given this opportunity. I needed to hang on to it. I couldn't like let it slip. So I was just very, very devoted to learning everything, because obviously I didn't know anything. And I took a lot of pride in whatever I was doing, and I tried to learn at every opportunity, and I was very happy at work. So I could see the difference that I felt as an editor compared to when I was an engineer, and I knew that this is something that I can do till the end of my career. So I have also worked with a lot of different authors with very different personalities, and I have actually taken in learning points from my interactions with them. When I turned author, I knew what are the things that are going to really annoy my editor, and I would not do that, and what are the things that would make me a desired author, that they would come back to me for another project. Like right now I'm working on 2 editing projects and 2 writing projects. So again, my daily to-do list comes in handy, because I have to be very structured with what I do each day. I have chapter by chapter deadlines to meet. So chapter 3 is due today, maybe chapter 4 is due 2 days later, and that may be clashing with something that's due to another publisher. So it's a choice I have made to be in this profession, where I know the income is not stable, it's not fixed, I have not much control over it. What I can do is really put in the best of my work and just hope that the book will do really well, but I do try to make sure that the market research is solid. I have my own definition of success, and I think everybody should. So people have different yardsticks. Some people may think that my designation at work is how I measure my success, or how many people report to me. For me, it's what I feel when I wake up every morning. Do I feel like I'm doing something meaningful? Do I feel excited about the work day that I'm going to have? When I talk about my work to people, do I still feel that spark? Or when I walk into a bookshop and I see my book there, do I feel that joy? So all of that continues to happen even after 22 years. So I would say I'm very happy with the path I have chosen, or rather the path I ended up following. It's definitely very, very enriching, and I have no regrets.